Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a book haul. And yes, I said that with excitement because I love bringing new books into the house. And no, I can't dance, but I can purchase books. There's a mixture of items here from 2 different book outlet orders, some thrifted books, as well as books that I purchased from Amazon. And in no particular order, I'm just grabbing, we've been in these books, so they're a little mixed up. This is absolutely gorgeous. I wonder if the light's reflecting off the eyes. Look, it even has the blue sprayed edges. This is a DK wildlife book. And the reason that I picked this up is because I love DK publishing, and if you watch my last video, you know that it was one of the resources I said I wished I had have known about sooner. My daughter absolutely loves animals. She's watched so many documentaries. Her first response was, I know all this. Which you'd be surprised how much she does know, actually. I am always surprised by how much she does know. But we've been trying to do a photo of the day, which we started when we did our penguin study. We had a book that we were flipping through and doing a photo of the day, and it was so much fun. So we've been trying to keep that going, and it's been sporadic at best, but I keep going back to it because eventually, hopefully it will stick. I thought this was a great book for our photo of the day. Now, I ordered these. I think we'll do these this summer, read these together as a read aloud. And this is part 1, part 2, and this is Tales from the Odyssey. And this is by Mary Pope Osborne. And she wrote the Magic Treehouse series, chapter book series, which we loved. Now, I've heard mixed reviews about these books, but I thought it might be a great way to introduce this story and to be a bit more in depth than we've come across when we've studied mythology. And this is how it's written. So technically Vivian could read this on her own this summer, but I'd like to read it with her because I'd like to know more and start off learning about the Odyssey from a child's perspective as well. Anyway, I thought this would be a great summer read. Now, I picked this up at a local bookstore, Chapters Indigo, because, well, a Canadian store. And I absolutely love this comic strip. This is by Debbie Tong, and this, I've had this at the library before. It was in a sales bin, and I grabbed it as soon as I saw it. Now, Vivian actually wanted me to read this with her so we could experience this together, and I'm glad we did. So we did that over a couple of sittings and both laughed our heads off because if you're a book lover, you will absolutely love this book. If you know a book lover, this is a fantastic present. Oh yeah, I even bookmarked some faves. The next 2 books were included in Vivian's Easter basket. So if you saw the video when I got my daughter for Easter, you definitely saw these, but I still want to mention them because I never did haul them in a regular book haul, and not everybody would have been interested in that video. The first one is a chapter book, and this is a Magical Animal Adoption Agency. This is book number 2. This is book number 2. This is the second book in the series. I think there's 3 out so far, and this is absolutely adorable. And this is literally it's like an animal hospital for magical animals, and it's where people can go and adopt magical animals. And Clover in the first one found her perfect place, and I can't wait to read this with Vivian, and I'm glad she lets me read it. This is one of those I'm glad she lets me read with her because I think they're so cute. Here is a book you would have seen a couple times. One in that Easter basket, as I mentioned. But the reason that this was in the basket and that I purchased it was because Vivian and I read this together, and it was so magical, and we absolutely loved it. I went on and on about this book when I was sharing about the 3 resources or 3 curriculum that I love. And yeah. So I definitely wanted to add this to our home library. Yes, it comes with the CD. That is part of the magic, the music. And she was really excited when she saw this in her Easter basket. And I have plans for unit studies from this book as well. And if you're interested and keeping abreast of those, I was going to say let me know in the comments, but really I am so excited by this. I know I'm definitely going to share it probably sometime next fall because I would love to do up a sort of like a magical and enchanting, delightful, I even love the words, whimsical sort of unit study for next winter, you know, especially for those months where it gets a little dreary. I'm in Canada, so, you know, there's a point where winter becomes a bit much. I never said the title, did I? This is Simply Fantastic, an introduction to classical music. And this is the music selection, explanatory notes by Anna Gerard, and illustrations by Claudia Lagnazzi. I also picked up, this one is Listen to the Birds, an introduction to classical music. And again, music selection, explanatory notes by Anna Gerard. The illustrations this time are by Cecilia Varela. And it also comes with a CD. Now, this was much different than the other one. The tone, the type of music that was being played was very different. Still liked it, and loved it, really, but it was not as whimsical as the other one. So this is really coming from a different place in terms of why we would want to study it. But I loved it. There's also one about insects, if your kid's much younger. And if it was a couple years ago, I definitely would have purchased that one as well. But I think my daughter's not as much into insects as she was like 2 years ago. That would have been absolutely perfecto. I'm going to haul something that was just a little splurge for moi. So this was for me. I absolutely love notebooks. And because I'm an avid journaler, I usually have a stack that I've purchased, that I've bought on sale different places, that eventually I use. But I haven't done that in a couple of years for sure. Mostly I've been focusing more on homeschool items for sure. But when I saw this, I didn't buy it. It was on half price. And then the next time I had to go was at an Office Depot. I grabbed it for myself. It's gold edges, and really, homeschool moms need something too. And this was from Book Outlet. This is a Latinas Celebrating 40 Big Dreamers. And this didn't come in a previous order. I had to contact them. I say that because this was supposed to be part of our Women's History Month read alouds. But anyway, that didn't happen, but we have it now. I'm so grateful. And really, it's perfect timing because we are starting to study Latin America again in May, for May and June. So really, then this worked out. So this is about 40 different Latino women. It says, discover how 40 influential Latinas became the women we celebrate today. They followed their dreams, and they just might encourage you to follow yours. And these are what the illustrations look like. I really love these kind of anthologies. It gives you such a cross section of people usually. And if somebody in particular catches your eye, you can sort of go down that rabbit hole, either into about that particular person or about that time in history. And usually they can be great jump offs for unit studies. And if not, they're just a great read all in of themselves and introduce you to a bunch of different people, which is fantastic. So this will go in our morning basket, and it will be part of our women's studies. I think I've mentioned in previous videos, I always try to include something in our morning basket that's about remarkable girls or women, sort of from a women's studies point of view. And I love it that these are Latino women, and that kind of fits in. I'm trying to tie in more of our studies to meet both those goals all wrapped up in one. In case that was confusing, the two goals are women's studies as well as studying Latin America. Now, this I ordered off of Amazon used, and usually I have quite a bit of success with that. I wasn't as happy with this one, and the reason is the spine is broken. So yeah, well, it's not really the spine, it's the cover. So the cover's broken. Anyway, that didn't make me so happy. However, I am keeping the book because there's nothing else wrong with it. It's fine. And if I return it, it probably just ends up in the dump. I don't want that. And I can still use it perfectly well. So this is a DK book, and this is the timelines of everything. The reason I ended up ordering this was I was filming this as part of a library haul, which I still haven't finished or put out, edited for you guys yet. But I was filming this and the inside of it, and I realized how much I loved it and how great it would be on our shelves. Now, we already have timelines of every one, but I thought this would make a great addition, so I went and ordered it online. And yeah, it has everything. I mean, obviously you can't put everything in a book, but it certainly has enough that it makes a fantastic resource book. Now, this is a recent purchase I got off Amazon. This is called The Raft, and this is by Jim LaMarche. And I ordered this because if you saw my video, Is Instagram Worth It? I had a piece of curriculum from Hearth Magic that was included in the spring bundle. And it was about a picture book study, and it was about this particular book. And I've been dying to do one of the Hearth Magic's book studies, and they're just so beautiful. And this was a picture book, and so I ordered it immediately, and that is something that we're going to do over the next, I'm actually not sure if I'm going to do this in the spring or keep it for the summer. I'm starting to accumulate a pile of items I'd love to do in the summer, and this may or may not be one of them. Anyway, can't wait to get into this. And I also picked up 2 Beatrix Potter books. They were in Book Outlet, so I grabbed them for our collection. And as you noticed, probably if you follow us, so we did a Beatrix Potter study. And I included these in the study, but more than anything, I really wanted the Treasury and the nursery rhyme set for Vivian to have on her shelf. So when she grows up and she finds a home of her own, she will already have a set of these Treasury books. Also from Book Outlet, I picked up some of these how to draw books, step-by-step directions. There were 3. My daughter's already taken 2 of those. So I don't even remember what they were. I think animal faces and ocean or something. Anyway, she ran off with those. And actually, this was an order. I ordered this all by itself because I really wanted it when I saw it in Book Outlet. I didn't want to do a whole order. I've been really trying to be more focused with my book purchases, really going for books that I know we're going to study over the next year anyway. And I've been doing that for a couple of reasons. 1, my shelves are full. And 2, I have a huge list of books that I need to purchase for a lot of our curriculum studies for next year. Because I have 3 different major curriculums that are literature based. So they come with huge book lists. So I definitely wanted to be a little more focused in my purchases. But when I saw this, had to have it. Because if you saw my last video where I talked about what I wish I had have known sooner, I mentioned this book was her story, and it was one of Vivian's favorite books when we started to do our very first morning basket. So when I saw this kid's story, 50 Children and Young People Who Shook Up the World, I ordered it all by itself. I paid the shipping because, well, for one, Book Outlet has a flat rate for shipping, so that's quite helpful. And I just figured she would really enjoy this. So now we have 3 of these type of books. And yeah, I think she's going to really enjoy this one. I know I'm going to save this one for next year because we're doing a Harry Potter study next year. And in one of the curriculums, there's like an activist part. So we're going to be studying activism. So I have a collection that I was already starting anyways to do a unit study on activism. So I might kind of pull those together. This would make a great addition to that study for sure. And speaking of curriculum that we're going to be doing next year or unit studies, all under the umbrella of Harry Potter study, we are doing a rock and mineral study. And I love the channel HRM Reads, and she spoke about this book and said she wished that she had have had it when they did their rock and mineral study. So thank you for that, because I purchased it with that intention. And this is called Skunk and Badger by Amy Timberlake. And this says pictures by John Klassen. Now, I really love to picture... Oh, what's that? Now, I really love pairing fictional reads with some of our unit studies. So if I can find a book of fiction that really ties in with our unit study, I am all over that. I absolutely love having those mesh. I know this is a series, so I might get the second one. It depends on how much we like the first one. See that? Self-control. I'm going to wait to make sure we like this before I order all the books in the series, which I've done in the past, and it hasn't always worked out. Another purchase that I made because of HRM Reads, and I will link her channel down below. And if you love books as much as I do and love watching what other people are purchasing for their homeschool, definitely check out her channel. This is How to Teach Art to Children, and this is one of the Evan Moore books. And the reason that I had this is because she talked a lot about teaching her daughter process over product. So I really think that makes a lot of sense. And this was one of the books that she had referenced, I think, a couple years ago she did with her daughter. Anyway, I saw it come up on Book Outlet and I grabbed it. We'll be using this as our art curriculum for next year. And I did pick up another Evan Moore book, and this is Grade 6 Daily Paragraph Editing. Now, this is for Grade 6. We are going in Grade 4, so we will not be using this for a couple of years. The reason I grabbed it is that I was watching Happy Project Home, and she said this was her favorite Evan Moore book. And this is where the kids get the opportunity, here's the correction, to correct other people's work. And I can see how that can make them a little less self-conscious and to really just get in there and do the edit. I just think the process of that makes total sense. Now, I wish they had it for another grade, but they did have it for Grade 6. I know we'll use it. And at that price, I was grabbing it because these are very pricey, I find. Now, I'm in Canada, so I find they're even a bit pricier anyway, yeah. At 1/3 of the cost, I'm getting it. And it's funny because after this, I watched somebody else's channel. I'll mention her in the next haul because I did go back and get some more Evan Moore. And I just did a whole booklet order just on Evan Moore. So you'll see that coming up. All right, the remaining books I'm going to share with you are books that I have thrifted. So these came from a couple different thrift excursions. Now, this one I bought at a secondhand bookstore. This is the Herons Handbook. And really, it's got that older smell. This is why I bought it. It was for the illustrations. I love nature illustrations. So I've mentioned in previous videos, I talked about it again in my last video. I think I've already mentioned it here, but it was what I wish I had have known sooner. And resources I wish I had known about sooner. And there's a whole section in that video about nature studies. And you know, it's taken me a long time to accept that I love a lot of the materials that are involved in nature studying, but I'm not the best homeschool mom for getting out there in the nature, really. I much prefer reading about these things and going out hunting them all. Anyway, I specifically went to this particular bookstore looking for these kind of books. Look at that. Anyway, there you go. I'll be curious to see where I'm at in 20 years and what's on my shelf when it comes to these type of books. All right, I picked up The Dragons Are Singing Tonight, poems by Jack Prelutsky and pictures by Peter Sis. So I bought this for two reasons. One, my daughter loves dragons. And two, we have another book of poetry by Jack Prelutsky. I hope I'm saying that okay. And he's funny. And Vivian really liked his other book of poetry. And she was all for this book, trust me. Really fun illustrations and sing-songy kind of poems. It's fantastic. And I also just picked up, this was Floribunda Woodland. So this is simple art doodles. Thought this was really cute. And this is a Reader Digest, Pathfinder, Sharks, and Other Sea Creatures. Now, I have a whole bin of shark material to do a shark study. I thought it would be great for Vivian to do with her dad. And it turns out they love to spontaneously watch a lot of things, but they didn't have a lot of interest in doing that shark study together. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that material. I think it might be something that I end up doing with her. Sharks don't interest me much, but you know, dinosaurs don't interest me either. And I finally gave in, and we've been doing a mini dinosaur study over the last month because she loves it, and I'm trying to do more interest-led. So maybe this will be something that follows along that path as well. I'm trying to find a balance between what she loves and what I love. This is In Search of King Tut's Tomb. Thought this was kind of cool. Now, the rest are Osborne books, and some of them are a perfect age for her, and some of them I think might be even a little bit too young. But, oh, wait, Sorry, there's one of these 100 Facts books in there, Saving the Earth. And we have quite a few of these 100 Facts by Miles Kelly. Yeah, I quite enjoy them. The rest are Osborne. I'll do them quite quickly. This is big books of things to do. Lots of make and play ideas. Pirate things to make and do. We have some summer activities. Now this is one I think might be too young, but we'll see. Osborne, the Great Castle Search. That's cool. And then it's the Great History Search. Yeah, I think these are a lot of fun. Vivian really likes them. So this is actually the perfect age for these. And there was also the Great City Search and the Great Planet Earth Search. And Knights and Castles, Things to Make and Do. And lastly, Wizard Things to Make and Do. And to go along with the shark study, how to draw sharks and their prey. All right, those are all the books I have to share with you. I'd love to know if you found something you're really excited about to add to your homeschool shelves. And if you like this video, please hit like. If you'd like to see more like it, please hit subscribe. And I will see you soon with another video.